internet dwellers, and welcome to my channel. Based on the community poll I made after the last video, this video will be my take on Chloe Bourgeois and Queen Bee. And I'm very excited to show you my ideas for this character, especially because how the show did her dirty. For those who don't know, Chloe is one of the secondary antagonists of MLB, who once had to be miraculous. Chloe is the daughter of the mayor of Paris and the director of Style Queen magazine. She's one of the most popular students at French-Saint-Dupont College, even though many of its students despise her for her spoiled diva personality. That's the general idea of this character. I am glad you chose this character for me to cover. Strangely, Chloe is one of my favorite characters of the show, especially during season 2, when she had her redemption arc, which unfortunately was thrown away by the idiotic creator of the show. Seriously, I'm still resentful for what they've done to Chloe's character to this day. She had one of the most interesting character arcs. The spoiled rich diva who learns to be a better person by someone she looks up to. Especially with her backstory as the lonely, neglected child who was never truly loved by her parents. Along with her history of Adrian and how and why she adores him. Also, she's a lot more interesting than the bland parasite that replaced her. Seriously, show? You replace an interesting take on the spoiled sweet character with a bland Mary Sue. Also, I hate Vesperia's design. Ugh, I hate it. It does not suit the bee motif and it's so bad. But it does give me an opportunity to do a queen justice. I have so many great ideas for her, and thank you all for the lovely ideas you provided during the process. I appreciate all your efforts and advice. It really helped me during the design process. Now I shall adapt all those great ideas into my version of Chloe and Queen Bee, designing her to suit my telling of Miraculous Ladybug, along with adding some new additions to freshen things up. Keep in mind, this is all just my opinion and ideas. But before we start this video, my internet dwellers, don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. To get the channel noticed by the algorithm, tap the subscribe button for fun quarterly art videos. Before we start discussing why I think the current designs and writing don't work, let's discuss how Chloe's character was portrayed in the show and how it evolved and de-evolved. Early on the show, Chloe was portrayed as the typical bully and mean girl who makes the life of everyone, especially the main girls, terrible, leading to most of being targeted by the main villain. Also has rich parents and likes the same guy as the main girl, and also has a best friend and lackey who submits to her every whim. That was Chloe for most of the show, during season 1 and early season 2. You think that's all that Chloe is, a two-dimensional mean girl character. Then, season 2 did something else. Something that caught the interest of fans. The show provides insight into Chloe and we see a different side of her. We learn that Chloe looks up to Ladybug, and as a #1 fan, Ladybug is her hero, and we even see that Chloe wishes to be a hero. And in some episodes, we see that she's capable of courage. Although she's fabulously wealthy, her home life is empty of the love of family. We learn that Chloe was abandoned by her mother, who later on the show, we learn that Audrey is a terrible woman who verbally abuses her daughter. And no matter how much effort Chloe puts in, no matter how much Chloe tries to fit in what her mother values, it's never good enough for her cruel mother and her impossible expectations. And her father is no better, as we see in the show. He rarely spends time with his daughter and enables her materialism and poor mannerisms. Instead, he hands over his parental responsibilities to his staff. And also that Adrian is her only friend who was there for her. All this explains why Chloe is the way she is. Neglect, verbal abuse, loneliness, and poor parenting. Overall, Chloe is a terribly misguided child who possesses the potential to become a hero and a better person. And for a while during the show, this was how Chloe's story went. A bully girl on the path of redemption. She even becomes the holder of the Be Miraculous and a reliable ally to Ladybug. As a #1 fan, Chloe would gladly do anything to impress a role model, even if it comes off as annoying to Ladybug. She struggles to unlearn the behaviors that her mother values. Even though she was mostly motivated by wanting to keep her friendship with Adrian, the best example of this was in the episode Despair Bear, where her butler suggested to Chloe to throw a party for her classmates. To make it up for them by not helping her clean up the school, she struggles to learn the importance of being kind. So her butler shows a childhood teddy bear, and during the party he encourages Chloe to be kind. Although she struggles to do that, we see that Chloe truly wants to be a better person. She just doesn't know how to. Again, she is misguided and a result of neglect and terrible parents, and it's pretty realistic for that to happen. Children are a result of their parents, and proper guidance can help nurture them to be better people. And also, people can change. It takes time, and it's difficult to unlearn bad traits and habits, but they can change, and that's what we see of Chloe for most of seasons 2 and 3. That was one of the aspects that kept me watching the show back then. That was until Mr. Astra came back and ruined everything with all of his BS and lack of ability to execute his ideas well. Seriously, who holds grudges towards a fictional character they made? Seriously, this man worked on shows like Totally Spies and yet can't design fashionable attire for his characters? Seriously, there are whole blogs dedicated to analyzing this grown man's. And seriously, he massacred Chloe into a worse off parody of her season 1 character, replacing her with some inferior knockoff straight out of amateur fanfiction. And also I'd like to say Chloe's current design sucks and looks so outdated. Seriously, nobody wears pale blue eyeshadow anymore. And she looks like she got kicked out of the early 2000s. Queen Bee's design is actually pretty good, and it's my favorite design. But I think it could be so much better if they went full on with the Queen Bee theme. Speaking of design, I got ideas for our darling diva and how we can make her truly fantastic, truly fashionable, and truly a queen. Let's start off with redesigning and rewriting Chloe Bourgeois. For her character, I wanted to go with a talented diva girl who secretly has a lot of insecurities that she covers up by acting tough and superior. Chloe in this adaptation is a girl who, on the outside, looks like she has everything. She comes from a fabulously wealthy, influential family. She is extraordinarily beautiful and graceful. She is super stylish and always keeps up with the latest fashion trends and even sets trends thanks to her Instagram with millions of followers. She is the most popular girl at school and has a small group of friends who are more like simps/yes women, and she even is the most talented actress in Montreal Grand High School's theater club, being the lead in every school play and also can sing very well. She has it all, and many would love to have her life. What the world does not know is that Chloe does not truly feel whole. She never knew true parental love, as her parents chose their careers over her, and they rarely see their daughter. Her father, Audrey, is the mayor of Montreal, a busy, important man who attends many meetings and political conferences. He has no time for his children and leaves his parental responsibilities to his staff. Her mother, Audrey, is one of the most famous fashion critics in the world and is director of the influential fashion magazine Style Queen. Audrey neglects and verbally abuses her children, and she is especially cruel to Chloe, and she believes that Chloe is not good enough. No matter how much Chloe tries to impress and please her mother, even though Chloe is a successful, fabulous teenager with a promising future as a professional actress and singer, it's still not enough for Audrey. Audrey is not any better. Although he does not set impossible expectations for his daughter, he was never there for her. He never took her seriously, as it is her brother who is the important heir to his legacy. Never attended any of her school plays, no matter how many times he promised her. Every time he broke his promise, he would just send her money or fancy gifts to make up for it. He truly never supported her dreams and ambitions. She is just a daughter, the princess, basically just a trust fund baby. All of this left Chloe an insecure, lonely girl who was always approving, whether that is for her building her acting career, fashion, social life, etc. Every time she looks in the mirror, her mother's harsh words echo in her mind. She covers it all with a mask, a persona. She acts like nothing is wrong, taking out her anger at the people at school, picking on those whom her mother would have seen as low and pathetic, and she has the charisma and social savviness to gaslight people to love and fear her, something that she saw her mother do to her inferiors. She thought that acting like her mother would get her love, even though it's never enough for someone who should have been her greatest support. Overall, Chloe is a stylish, talented, hardworking girl who has terrible insecurities and covers that up with a persona of a sassy, mean diva. Let's translate all of that to her new design. First, we need to seriously update her style to show that she is a fashionable girl and not a bad parody of Y2K fashion. Also, to differentiate her from Queen Bee, I needed her to look fabulous, like a celebrity. So I searched up chic modern fashion. I dressed her up with a Peter Pan top with a high-waisted denim skirt with a big belt with a monogram on it, stylish ankle boots with black socks on top of white stockings. I wondered what else to add to make her look stylish and stand out from her peers. So I thought, why not a loose long coat, which made her look elegant and kinda regal, along with added accessories like a fancy purse, expensive jewelry, and her signature hat with sunglasses, which also hides a bee miraculous that she discovers during the story. For color, since I want her to look different to Queen Bee, I changed her hair color from golden blonde to a honey blonde with a gradient, as it's quite a nice color and acts as a subtle reference to bees and their honey. I kept her eyes blue and just desaturated them to suit her hair color more. For our colors, I searched up what suits those with honey blonde hair and found out that green, especially warm greens, are very flattering for honey blondes, so I made it the main color of her outfit, along with black, very light green, blue for her skirt, and gold for her jewelry. Also changed her makeup to be more modern and sophisticated, with a smoky eye and a more flattering lipstick. And she is done. Doesn't she look fabulous? And kinda reminds me of Serena from Pokemon XY. Time to introduce the new addition to this adaptation. My internet dwellers, may I introduce you all to Percival Bourgeois, the older twin brother to Chloe and a lovely gentleman. But before we discuss design, let's learn who he is. Percival is the son of Andre and Audrey Bourgeois and heir to his family's legacy, along with their family's luxury hotel business empire. He is the school president of Montreal Grand High School and is the most popular boy, especially with the female students due to his charming looks. He is a sophisticated young gentleman with a promising future as a politician and businessman. He is also a talented pianist and violinist who adores his sister and is the only one to take her seriously. He supports his sister's dreams and tries his best to attend her plays even with his busy schedule. The two are very close and Chloe can get pretty jealous when any girl tries to get close to him. Although he is very charming, witty, passionate, intelligent, he is also quite stubborn, prideful, irritable, cunning, and close-minded, as he is not part of the miraculous users and he thinks they're the ones bringing chaos to the city. He also thinks they are dangerous vigilantes with their powers and abilities, and they should not take the police job and protecting the peace. This is the total opposite to his sister, who adores the miraculous users, especially Ladybug, as she is her #1 fan. Kinda like how Harvey Bullock hates Batman, while James Gordon likes the Knight of Gotham for protecting the city from dangerous criminals. Like his sister, he has a cold relationship with his parents, especially his father. Although he is the heir and very important to Andre, Andre rarely spends time with his son and just expects him to fulfill his responsibilities as his heir. For his mother, it is quite a similar relationship, but unfortunately, his sister gets the brunt of the abuse. So Percival does his best to protect Chloe from his mother and is always there to support her. Overall, Percival is a charismatic, intelligent, but prideful, irritable gentleman. Let's translate all of that to his design. As the twin brother to Chloe, I made sure that Percival resembled his sister with his facial features and hair. His hairstyle is just a shorter version of Chloe's with some slight differences in styling. For his outfit as a wealthy heir, I had to put him in a tuxedo with a fancy vest and tie, along with some accessories like cufflinks and a brass chain with a crown pin with his monogram. For colors, they're essentially like his sisters with some slight differences, with the main color is being black and green with brass acting as an accent. And he's not too bad for this adaptation's first original character. I should make more original characters. Moving on to Queen Bee. Before I start, I'd like to give credit to Callie Martin for the idea that Queen Bee is a spy-like superhero. Also like the idea that Queen Bee can fly. I am going to borrow those ideas with my own spin on it. When Chloe becomes Queen Bee, she is blessed with true confidence. Queen Bee is an intelligent, charming, cunning woman who plays the role of spy, gathering information on enemies in order to stay 2 steps ahead. She is one of Ladybug's most trusted allies. For her design, I wanted to mix the bee thing with a chic spy. I styled the hair into a drill-like ponytail you see in anime that looks like a bee's stinger. I also made her eyes sharper and mysterious with dark makeup. For her outfit, I wanted to make her look different to Ladybug. So instead of a dress/skirt for her attire, I gave her a turtleneck romper with a coat to act as her cape to make her look elegant and mysterious. I also added fluff on her coat, kinda like what you see on bees. Also added gloves and high-heeled boots. For accessories like Ladybug and Cat Noir, I gave Queen Bee a bee-like ornament on her chest, a belt with a monogram. Her Miraculous is a crown-like comb with a fashionable antenna, and of course she needs a fancy mask. So I experimented a bit and ended up with an asymmetric but stylish design that does a good job of further hiding her identity. Also, of course, as a bee, she needs fabulous wings. For colors, I kept them the same as the original design, but with some changes. Then I decided to add purple to further go with the Queen Bee theme, as purple is the color of royalty, plus it goes with yellow as a complementary color. I placed her on her wings, fluff, and accessories. Also added gold for her weapon and monogram. And she is done. Here is our queen, who needs a loyal servant. Moving on to Pollen. Also, she's a boy in this version. And ooh, time for a name change. His name is Abel, the French word for bee. It's a pretty cute and fancy sounding name that reminds me of Abel from Pretty Princess Party. For his design, I wanted to go with a butler look, as I imagined that he serves Queen Bee like a worker and drone bees do in real life. For his outfit, I kept it simple with a vest and a bow tie. His colors are the same as Queen Bee. The biggest change I made was to his eyes. I made the eyeballs black with purple on top, kinda like Bee's eyes. I imagine that he keeps a clipboard to help Chloe to manage her day along with scheduled training sessions. Abel will be one of Chloe's best friends and support, as Abel is kinda like Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio. He encourages Chloe to be a better person and teaches Chloe to unlearn what she learned from her mother. Abel will be the adult that Chloe needs, who can nurture her inner goodness and bring out her true potential. Overall, Abel is a kind, nurturing, patient, loyal, but sarcastic, cunning Kwame. We'll talk about his backstory in the next section, as it's getting too long. And he is done. He's so cute. Let's start off with discussing Queen Bee's powers and abilities. First, as you can see on Queen Bee, she can fly with her wings because why not? I swapped out her spinning top weapon with a bee-themed gun that can shoot 3 types of bullets. First, venom sting bullets that can temporarily paralyze enemies. Sticky honey blasts that stop enemies at their track. Third is the most deadly, the red sting bullets that she only has a limited supply of, and it's only used to destroy Akumas or to kill someone. Hopefully that never happens. Queen Bee's fighting style uses her advantage of flight mixed with acrobatics, dance, and gunmanship, along with hand-to-hand combat. If you all are wondering why I swapped out Queen Bee's weapon with a gun, because Queen Bee is the spy of the Miraculous users, and guns are typically used by spies, along with the fact that Queen Bee is not as physically strong as the other Miraculous users, so a gun really helps. Although Queen Bee is faster than Ladybug, especially with her wings, and Ladybug can only fly for a limited amount of time. Lastly, something that Kalimara came up with that I like to use, but I add my own spin to it. Queen Bee is the only Miraculous user other than Master Papillon that can summon minions. Queen Bee can summon worker bees to do her bidding, whether it's to collect information on enemies as her eyes and ears from a safe distance, because as a queen, why would she get her pampered hands dirty? Also, her weapon can transform into a shield, so her worker bees can shield her from attacks. And like other Miraculous users, Chloe can use Queen Bee's powers in civilian form. Example, summoning worker bees to serve her. But like I said before, she needs to take care so no one finds out her secret. Moving on to world building and lore. But before we start, I like to congratulate Venice for figuring out that the cousin of Adrian mentioned in the previous video, that cousin is Chloe. Congratulations! And they are related by their mother's side. This fact makes Audrey and Emily sisters, and they were very close to their favorite aunt and cousin. Emily was a very kind, loving aunt to Chloe, as she is the one to encourage Chloe to pursue her dreams. This will be further explained in the next section, as Percival thinks the Miraculous users are dangerous for the city and its residents, along with the Akumas and the rising crime rate. During the story, he gathers up a special police team to protect the city and to find and arrest the miraculous users. This will make things awkward as Marinette has a huge crush on him ever since their first year of high school, and it is one of the reasons that Chloe originally picked on her, along with taking out her insecurities on other people. Before we get to Abel's backstory, let's list off some fun facts about the Bourgeois twins. Chloe and Percival are the same age as Marinette and Nathaniel, making them in their third year of high school. They are both fluent in many languages. Percival has a soft side he rarely shows to anyone other than his sister. Chloe does gymnastics in her spare time along with shopping and visiting cafes with her brother. They live in a luxurious penthouse in downtown Montreal's most famous hotel, Bourgeois Hotels. And finally, Abel in his previous life was the loyal servant to a French queen during the 1700s. He used his magic to serve his queen in her ambitions and goals. He served her loyally until his death, and like all magic users, transformed into a Kwame, trapped into the comb that once belonged to his beloved queen, who he never had the chance to confess his undying love to. That comb remained in that old French castle until it was discovered many years later by Audrey's family and put on display in a historical museum in Montreal. And then one day, during the story, Chloe discovers the being miraculous who promised to help and guide her. Here is the fully detailed telling of Chloe and Percival's backstory. Ever since Chloe can remember, her parents never really took the time for her and her brother, as they are usually tending to their very important careers, whether it is meetings, calls, or traveling for work. Even in the rare cases her parents are home, it was not pleasant, especially when their mother came home. She would just criticize and criticize. Chloe and Percival never heard a true word of love or praise from their mother. All she and he knew from their mother's words were harsh and cold. She would say that Chloe was not dressed well enough. Percival's grades were not good enough. They were not well behaved enough. They were too clingy. Nothing pleased this woman. Their father was not any better. He rarely tried to stop his wife's harshness. He never took Chloe's dreams and ambitions seriously, while placing heavy expectations on his son and heir. Fortunately, the twins had their favorite aunt and cousin. Aunt Emily was a very kind woman who adored her niece and nephew. Chloe discovered her love of acting and singing thanks to her aunt, and Percival discovered a love for the violin and piano when one day Emily took him to a Cinderella play. The aunt made them feel loved and enough. Their favorite cousin Adrian was their best friend. The three went to school together back then when they used to live in Paris. Those days were filled with joy, even though their home life was cold. But unfortunately, those days did not last long. The mysterious death of their Aunt Emily broke the two families. On the day of her funeral, Chloe and Percival lost two people very dear to them. Their aunt was murdered, and their cousin Adrian was pulled out of school by their uncle Gabriel, who lost all faith in humanity and obsessively kept his son from the world. They rarely saw their beloved cousin, even though Chloe tried her best to stay in contact with Adrian. Things went on as usual. Chloe and Percival are the most popular boy and girl at school. Everyone adored and feared them, especially Chloe. Unfortunately, Chloe took her frustration from her home life onto her peers that she looked down on. One of them was a shy, meek girl. Most people in school saw her as weird. She and her friend were outcasts with geeky interests. In Chloe's eyes, substandard social skills. But for what Chloe did not know, that Marinette is the same person as the mysterious woman who saved her life from the mysterious beast. Ladybug became her hero and role model that very day. Although her brother thought otherwise about the Lady of Luck, he thought Ladybug was dangerous and brought chaos to the city. The twins playfully fought and argued about these mysterious heroes of the night. Chloe defended her beloved Ladybug as her #1 fan and cheered on the miraculous users on her Instagram blog, while Percival, thinking for the safety of his sister and the city, gathered a team of special police to capture these vigilantes, along with investigating who and what these Akumas are. This was the routine for a great while, until one day, Chloe will get her wish. of being like her beloved Ladybug and Cat Noir. Her mother sat on one of her family's properties in France, discovered an old but lovely B-shaped hair comb. Chloe asked about this comb and she felt something special about it. But Audrey refused to answer, instead shouting at Chloe to fix her outfit, leading to a fight, and later on that week they discovered that this comb had historical value and placed it in Montreal's Historical Fashion Museum. And then, 1 month later, during a school trip to this museum, Chloe's class got to view it and learn about the history of fashion. Marinette was very excited and geeked out over everything. Chloe, as usual, picked on Marinette. Her group of friends / yes women laughed with her. Nathaniel stood up to her, shouting at Chloe to cut the slack. He and Marinette leave to visit the rest of the building. The trip went on as scheduled. Students exploring the museum and learning all kinds of things. Groups of teenagers chattered among themselves, admiring articles of clothing from times past. From the medieval times to the glamorous 1950s, historical dresses on display, vintage jewelry shining in spotlights. Chloe, of course, has been here more times than she can count, as her mother liked to collect historical fashion pieces and show them off to the world, a representation of her superiority and wealth. She learned everything about life from this woman, even though most people would disagree, like how to demand attention and respect with just your presence, that she can always do better, that she always has to keep on improving, no matter what, that a woman's image is everything. So she had to be perfect in the eyes of the world. It's not good enough to just be good, or even great. Perfection was the only acceptable standard. Otherwise, she was nothing. Chloe was lost in her thoughts. Her friends gossiped with each other, giggling at an old frilly dress. Everyone in the museum having a good time. Chloe was lost in her thoughts. Her friends gossiped with each other, giggling at a frilly dress. Everyone in the museum having a good time. And then suddenly, a monstrous beast attacked the museum. Windows shattered, sending glass shards everywhere. A strange and deadly sort of woman stood in the destroyed doorway. A fury of dressmaking tools floated around the woman. The Akuma shouted and ranted about Audrey, about her harsh, cruel criticism of her latest fashion line. You knew that my Honor Chic line was too good for your crappy magazine. Just a minute, you got a taste, Audrey Bourgeois, acting all high and mighty. Just because you're the director. I bet you only are where you are now cause you're filthy rich and connected to a grass. She threatened and promised to destroy everything Audrey held dear. Her magazine, her wealth, and especially her reputation. The seamstress shouted, "Let's start with this tacky museum!" She snapped her fingers and a fury of sewing needles and scissors flew like bullets, destroying everything in its path. Museum goers run for dear life, and chaos sparked panic in the air. While Ladybug and Cat Noir bravely fought this fashionable but terrifying Akuma, Chloe ran while on call with her brother, telling her to hide in the museum's private room, and that a team of special police are on their way to rescue her. Chloe ran and ran throughout the building, trying to find the private room. She passed something that looked familiar, shining on its glassless display, strangely not sustaining any damage, not even a scratch. The beacon caught Chloe's eyes. It was glowing, and a voice spoke to Chloe, a kind, gentle voice.
"I can assist you, mademoiselle."
Chloe was shocked, her legs shaking so much that she fell onto the floor. What the hell? What are you? Who are you? Wait a minute. Oh my god. Can you make me a hero? Like Ladybug? The voice responded.
"Yes, mademoiselle, I can grant you this wish. All you have to do is to put this comb on."
Chloe, even though beyond surprise, trusted this voice. Something about this voice was trustworthy, like a father figure that Chloe never had. Chloe slowly approached the voice and passed the red velvet rope, removed the shiny comb from its pedestal, and crowned herself. Light engulfed her body, transforming her into an elegant woman of black and yellow. Chloe, surprised but very pleased, checked herself out in a nearby mirror. She looked stunning in this bee-themed costume. She even had glittering wings that really let her fly. While admiring her new elegant ensemble, checking out every detail, a creature popped out of her chest. Queen Bee looked at this creature with curiosity and shock. It looked like a huge bee, dressed in a dapper vest and sporting the same wings as her. The bee-like creature bowed to Queen Bee and introduced himself.
Greetings, my queen. My name is Abel, the Kwame of the Bee Miraculous. How may I assist you, my queen?
Thank you for watching, my internet dwellers. This was pretty challenging to make, but I was very happy to take on this challenge to do our queen justice and add some original spice with this adaptation. I especially enjoyed redesigning Chloe and Queen Bee. Question of the day, my internet dwellers: which MLB character do you want me to redesign next? Put your answers below. I love to read them. Follow me on Pixup and Instagram for my art and information on future videos. Follow me on Twitter and Tumblr. Feel free to commission me on artistry.io for custom art. And that's all for today, my internet dwellers. Stay tuned for the next video. And goodbye for now.